Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Marketing Ops AMA. Ask Us Anything. We're doing these weekly. And this week's question to Alicia is so, Alicia, there are a million tools in our clients and everyone's tech stack, as you know. Where do you start to make progress or to optimize the tech stack?
Okay. I am the kind of person that I like low-hanging fruit, right?
Mm,
I like fixing the dumb little things that add up very quickly over time to show value. And not even show value in like the big picture business MQLs, leads, revenue, op sense, but just in like a momentum is important.
yep,
Move like what is it? An object in motion stays in motion, kind of like that kind of
yep,
logic.
yep,
So
yep.
even if it's like the small things that are just going to
Real
matter to
strategy.
you, yeah, and make you feel better about the work you're doing, that makes such a big difference because you feel better. And when you feel better about like your situation, you are able to then make headspace and make schedule space to tackle the big meaty problems. But I also know, Brandon, that you have a very different view on the kind of problems that you'd fix first. So tell me, what fire would you would you put out first?
Yeah, I mean, well, if I had to pick one, I think that um, I will pick. I would need to understand where in the business funnel there's the largest challenge, and then start there.
Mm,
Um, so if it's uh, a matter of production of not getting enough leads, there may be challenges with lead routing, with
mhm.
traffic to a form, too
Yeah,
many form fields. Um, there may be some people are getting confused on the forms, UX issues, so on and so forth. If there's challenges with leads not getting followed up quick enough, then
yeah,
there might be a challenge getting them to the right people at the right time, getting enough information so that they get qualified quickly, so on and so forth. And then later on down the funnel, with those leads turning into pipeline, there, our marketing operations processes and tools need to do a better job of making sure that up front we're qualifying the things that are getting into the system, or our scoring is reflective of
mm,
what turns into business the most efficiently and quickest. And those are usually process improvements, but they lend themselves to be reflective of certain tool implementations, like scoring
yeah.
or lead grading, or whatever the case is. It's a process change, but it's also a systematic change as well.
So here's my question for you. This is a genuine question, right? I don't disagree that those are all very good problems worth solving, but they take forever. And I feel like it's almost de-unmotivating, or like you can get the wind out of your sails real fast because like fixing that might
Motivating.
de-unmotivating, yeah. Like you like because you I feel like you would be like, yes, I'm gonna fix this form on like I'm gonna fix a demo form. And like 6 months later, the demo form is still not fixed. Because like politics and you have to like align three different teams to get it fixed and whatever the hell, right? So
Mhm.
how do you like I don't know, man, like how do you keep going when the most important problem to fix may very well take you like a year?
Well, if you great folks watched our one of our previous Ask Us Anythings, where we talked about, how do you improve your career? One of the things that I talked about was making sure that you ask questions about the most important goals or objectives, because
Mm,
the reason why that's so important is when you need to make a change like this, it's critical that, let me put a pin in that thought. You are going to inevitably hit a blocker
yeah.
because of politics or because of a technical limitation or whatnot. And it's refreshing that, because of our experience, we've been in the field for a while. it's refreshing when our clients or our managers or whatever the case is hear about these things that can happen, because they can help us unblock, right? So,
Mhm.
so if we say, hey, adding fields to this form might be a challenge because this team or that team may see a reduction in leads, your stakeholder or manager can help you navigate that early on
Yes.
versus you getting to that point and then having to deal with it. Then now you have to play catch up. So that's why it's
Okay.
important to ask.
You gotta
But to
ask.
your yeah, no, but to your question though, I think that this question, it's not an either or. Like, I agree with you. I think that one of the hallmarks of an experienced operator is that you're able to clearly communicate to executives, hey, these are the long term objectives that we're solving for with this project. And people, we will work with someone like yourself to say, well, here are the million day to day things that have to happen to hit that goal. So
Yeah.
you're not picking one thing
Yeah.
and just doing that and not working on anything else. You're mapping it to longer term sort of deliverables, and then you are getting those quick wins. So
Along
what
the way.
you're making concurrent progress. Yeah, yeah, that's how I would frame it.
Nice. I guess my definition of quick wins is like fixing the broken tokens in a program template. That
Oh
makes me
yeah,
so that makes
that's
me
not.
so happy.
I mean, I probably would not start there, but I make sense. I totally
Yeah.
get it.
I mean, I've seen like high volume campaign teams that I'm like, listen, y'all, if you didn't have to fix your tokens for every single bill, do you know how
It's
much
the
time
team
y'all would
minutes.
get?
Yeah.
Like, just like multiply it by like number of members on the team times like number of campaign builds you're doing, and like the quick little token fix suddenly starts to look like a really valuable type of like activity. I'm
I
also
want
going
to
to take a moment.
highlight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, no, finish.
I want to highlight that the answer also can change based off of the context of the organization. So you working at, you having that experience working with global teams and really large campaign marketing and campaign teams. That is where those metrics around how long it takes to get something done matters, because your campaign people tend to think that your campaign production will scale linearly with the amount of people that you have, and that's not a good formula for
Oh,
operating that team. So you're
nope.
absolutely right. Looking for quick wins in that case is
Oh yeah.
extremely beneficial, because the more one person can do, the better that it is for the business at that time. Yeah,
And I think you've also been working more with like startups and like
right.
early
Yep.
stage, somewhere between early stage to mid market. So I think for them, the like, how do we get money into this business as fast as possible question matters a whole. Like obviously every business cares about that, but when you're at that like early stage, like it's a lot of companies are at a growth at almost no at all cost or most cost kind of situation. So being able to like solve those bigger problems matters a lot.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think for the clients that are on the larger end, we have been able to take some of those learnings and apply them um, to some of the things that you're talking about, so that we get the best of both worlds, right? So we do know how to make progress and do things in an agile way, but also understanding that we do need to be careful and curate our releases so that we're not making really large mistakes, for example.
oh, 100%. Well, Brandon, I can see that some people desperately need your attention along the way. So I think this is a good enough spot to wrap up this week's Ask Us Anything. Folks, if you have questions for us, you know where to find Brandon and I on LinkedIn. Please shoot us a DM or leave a comment if you have a question that you'd like us to answer. See you around next week.